All right, today I'm going to be reacting to Fear of Music by Talking Heads. I've heard a couple albums from Talking Heads before. I've heard Remain in Light, which you'll see back there. I actually did a reaction to that, and I've heard Speaking in Tongues. It looks like this actually came out a year before Remain in Light. This is an album cover that I've never seen. I haven't really seen anybody talking about it, but it seems like it's something that I'm kind of missing and is essential to Talking Heads. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to get into this. I think David Byrne is probably one of my favorite vocalists, maybe of all time. I think he's just a really eccentric personality. So yeah, we're gonna hop into this. Make sure to go join the Patreon if you want to see this reaction uncut. There's a link in the description down below. And we're gonna hop into the first track, which is Zimbra. Oh, this is produced by Brian Eno. Okay, interesting. Dude, what language is this? Is this I have no clue. I mean, great groove. Fun kind of group vocals. Oh. Like where we're going with this bridge here. Love that riff. That little sliding bass is so sick. Oh, okay. Apparently this isn't a real language. It's just kind of nonsense. Nice crescendo here. Interesting, man. Very different from anything on Remain in Light. Does feel kind of similar to stuff from Speaking in Tongues, but apparently, yeah, this language just is completely made up. It's not even really a language. It's just kind of nonsense. That reminds me, I think Cocteau Twins falls under that too, right? Where half the time the vocalist there isn't even speaking a real language, right? It's more about the sound of it. Kind of a similar idea here. Yeah, it was good. Really good percussion. Don't really got much else to say about it. It does feel like David Byrne, it didn't feel like his vocals were necessarily as striking or ear-grabbing as they are on Remain in Light. It felt like more of a kind of group vocal performance. So the vocals didn't super stand out to me on that one, but just an interesting idea for a track. Let's keep it going. Next track is Mind. Here's my boy. Kind of a drowsy feel to this track. These sounds are I feel like they're purposefully kind of goofy. Whoa. That was cool. I love that subtle swell of synths there. It's good. Okay. That was good. I feel I don't know, there were some interesting sonic musical choices, but it's got a little bit repetitive to me. That was the main thing. I do think the lyrics here are pretty interesting. This whole idea of needing something to change your mind is kind of a strange angle to take. Especially this verse, drugs won't change you, religion won't change you. Things that definitely will change you, things that very easily change a lot of people. Even those things won't change this person's mind. Kind of a really just drowsy feel to that track, which I think was purposeful. And I think that's something that I really do appreciate about it. I just felt like it got, again, a little bit repetitive towards the end, so... Let's keep going, though. Paper is next.
Hold the paper up to the light. Take a little rest when the rays pass through.
Dang.
Take a little time off when the rays pass through. To that paper. Hold on, 'cause it's been taken care of.
I really do like how scratchy the guitars are here. Pretty catchy poppy track from the band here. Actually, the nature of the guitar riffs actually makes sense with what this track is about. Like, especially this mention of paper. Like, I was thinking these guitar riffs are just super scratchy, and I guess the guitar tone itself is super scratchy. It almost feels like it's paper that you can like rip in half, right? So I feel like that, like sonically and lyrically, there's a nice cohesion there. So far, this album doesn't feel as like exciting as Remain in Light or immersive as that album. Like, all the elements are still there of what makes a good Talking Heads song, but I feel like it's just not fully immersing me as much as that album did. So yeah, we'll keep going though. Cities is next.
Think of London, a small city. I'm checking it out. I'm checking it out. Boys, some bad boys.
These sounds are crazy right now. I think I figured out why I'm not loving this that much, but we'll talk about it after. Damn, okay. Here we go. Here's that like eccentric quality to David Byrne's voice that I was kind of missing. Damn. See, that's the kind of unhinged nature of David Byrne that I feel like was kind of missing on the first 3 tracks, but was kind of found on this one. And that was what I was going to say, is that's what I felt like was missing from this album up to this point. It was just that really eccentric vocal quality. I am really loving how like scratchy these guitar sounds. I'll go back to that, but the tones on this track as well just feel, I don't know, super scratchy. I like the pace and the energy to this album so far. Really good, like, smooth switches between chords on that track. Like, it felt like he was playing with that kind of, like, repetitive structure that I feel like Talking Heads plays with quite a bit. But then, like, modulating between chords within that, like, repetitive kind of riff, if that makes sense. Yeah, that was good. I think that was my favorite so far. I think it solved some of the issues or some of the things that I think were missing from the first 3 tracks. So that was pretty solid. Let's keep going. Next track, Life During Wartime.
Heard of a van that's loaded with weapons, packed up and ready to go. This ain't no party, this ain't no disco, this ain't no fooling around.
I don't know. This is another one that isn't doing much for me. It's kind of really repetitive and yeah.
You make me shiver, I feel so tender.
Good old fade out. I mean, hey, I talked about this a couple videos ago. There's a very specific time and a very specific type of song that a fade out works for. I feel like this is one of those songs. But again, that was one that just didn't really do much for me. I think it's just the songwriting here isn't really wowing me that much. I don't know, like the performances are fun. I like the textures a lot here. David Byrne is, slowly turning into his usual eccentric self. I think the lyrics are pretty great here too, but it's just the structure of these tracks is a little bit underwhelming to me right now. Next track is Memories Can Wait, or Can't Wait.
There's a party in my mind, and I hope it never stops.
See, here's more of that atmosphere that I've been hoping for. This is really good. This sounds great. Holy. Okay, I like that one quite a bit. Like I said, it kind of brought some interesting atmosphere that I feel like has been missing on this album so far. I really like the lyrics here. It seems like David Byrne is just kind of writing about getting lost in your own mind, kind of. I will say there is also like a quality to David Byrne's like singing and his performances that feels very within itself. like obviously it can tend to get very loud and he can project quite a bit. I don't know, the sense I get from it is that he's very just like in his own like zone and just kind of locked in. And I feel like the lyrics here kind of confirm that for me. Yeah, it was good. That's, like I said, one of my favorites. I don't know. I feel like there's a way that you can do this repetition without making it feel underwhelming in terms of the songwriting, and I feel like that track was a good example of that. So that was good. That was really good. Let's keep going. Air is next.
Hit me in the face. I say to myself, what is happening?
Ooh, this is nice and dreamy here. These vocals here sound great. I wonder if this is the other members of the band, or is this someone else they're bringing in? I do like how comical it kind of gets here, too. Cartoonish.
What is happening to my skin? Some people say not to worry about the air. Some people never had experience with.
Okay, I think that's my favorite so far. I really like the contrast between the choruses and the verses. It goes from kind of comical and kind of staccato and kind of like sharp, I guess, and then it turns into this really dreamy, warm kind of section with those choruses. Interesting kind of distrust in the lyrics here too. Air can hurt you. I don't know. It just feels like flipping the idea of something that is like life-giving, you know, but like flipping that idea, saying that even that can hurt you too, which I kind of get what he's saying. Like you could, maybe this is a metaphor for like, I don't know, it could be a metaphor for like a relationship, someone that you thought was so perfect. Oh, they could never hurt me, but it's like saying even the air can hurt you. Let's keep going. That was really good. Heaven is next.
Everyone is trying. Heaven is a place. Nothing ever happens.
Good dynamics to his vocal performance here too. He gets really quiet and then really, really punchy and loud at points.
Nothing at all. Nothing ever happened.
I will say, even though these songs aren't like hitting me on a first listen as hard as stuff on Remain in Light did, there is like a signature, for a lot of these tracks, there's like one signature thing happening that is gonna make it stick in my mind and make me maybe want to come back to it. Like specifically with this track being the dynamics in the vocal performance, which feels like either David Byrne just actually singing quieter and then picking up his volume, but it also feels like he could just be, you know, talking far away from the mic, singing far away, and then abruptly coming closer. Just a really interesting quality to that vocal performance. I don't really know how it makes me feel or what it does. It honestly doesn't make me feel much, but the idea itself is something that stuck out to me. Not one of my favorites on this album, but I think that vocal performance is pretty interesting. So we'll keep going. Animals is next.
Always falling into things. Always let it down, down, down. I lost faith.
I like these lyrics.
Know the animals laughing at us. Holding on down.
They're sweet and don't need bone. They're living on nuts and berries. You know animals are hairy. They're living on nuts and berries. They're living on nuts and berries. You know animals are hairy. Nuts and berries. They say they don't need wine.
I really don't care for that track, to be honest. I get what he's trying to go for in the lyrics here. Kind of the satirical look at animals, I guess, in the fact that kind of a ridiculous, absurd perspective in this track. I don't know, being skeptical of animals, I guess, or just being like super, you know, thinking they have play a bigger role than they actually do, which I feel like, I don't know. This is like This could be a very interesting topic for a song, but I feel like it's sitting in this weird gray area for me where it's like it's not leaning far enough into the comedic element of it, but it's also not leaning far enough into like the intellectual element of it to be like a thought-provoking song. It just feels like it's not as clever or smart as it thinks it is. So like this type of song is something I should like, but I just feel like it's not executed as well as it could be. We'll keep going. Electric guitar is next. Maybe we'll get an electric guitar, perhaps. No, I kind of wish it was just like a piano ballad or something.
This is a crime against the state. Electric guitar. This electric guitar. Someone control electric guitar.
I don't know, man. This album, like, sure, it had a couple strong tracks in the middle there, but it feels so simplistic compared to Remain in Light, and it's just, I don't know. It's really not doing much for me. Like, there's some cool sounds going on here, some cool textures, but these songs are just not again, I don't know, not doing much for me. This track 2 feels like it's I guess like a commentary on maybe just rock music in general, because you know, rock music back in the day was kind of like the hip hop of now, right? Where like it was kind of edgy and kind of looked down upon, I guess. So this is kind of talking about that, but I just really can't force myself to care about that track. I hate when reactions go this way. Like I go into albums like expecting to like them and enjoy them and find something about it that I enjoy, and I have found stuff in this album. It's not all bad, don't get me wrong, but it's like it just sucks when reactions go this way, because then it makes for a less fun video, and it's just like, yeah, I don't know. Let's keep going though. Last track is Drugs. Nice. You can definitely feel Brian Eno's hand in producing this one. I mean, I felt it throughout the entire album, but specifically this one. I mean, this is crazy for the 70s. This is really... Damn. Ooh. Whoa.
It'll be over.
I'm loving this. This is great. Feels like there's more attention to detail with like creating an interesting atmosphere in this one. I just think the structure of this track is a lot more engaging too.
The sound.
Dude, the vocals here are crazy.
That's what I call it.
That's good. Oh, feels like everything's kind of like mic'd closer now. Just like sucking the reverb out of the mix. Okay, there you go. Fear of Music by Talking Heads. I will say, first off, that last track I feel like is when Talking Heads really, for me, are at their best, is when they're leaning into a little bit more of a psychedelic sound. And I just think structurally, like tracks like that work a little bit better. They really know how to get like a nice push and pull effect with really like musically, instrumentally diverse sections within a song. I feel like a lot of this album was too like repetitive for me and too one-dimensional, like instrumentally within a single track itself. You do get variety from track to track, but there's some single tracks where I'm like, okay, it's just this same riff over and over again. That can work. Like on the last track, there's sections of it that are just like loops essentially, but then within that one track, it jumps in between different sections that vary pretty intensely. So yeah, I don't know, this album's kind of hit or miss for me. It feels a little bit more raw, maybe the most raw album that I've heard from them. It feels like Remain in Light is a little bit more produced. This album's very produced, don't get me wrong. There's lots going on here. Especially like vocally, David Byrne feels a little bit less... They feel a little bit less intentional with what he's doing or how they're producing his vocals. Like it feels not messy, but it kind of, no, it actually does kind of feel like intentionally messy. Like they're leaving a lot of those dynamics within the vocal performance, you know? Like what I'm remembering from Remain in Light, and I might be wrong on this, is that the vocals on that album, for the most part, feel a lot more just like one consistent volume, you know? And with this album, like I said, there's a lot of quiet and a lot of loud, and I do think that makes for an interesting album, but I don't know, I guess it's just the songs themselves that are not as gripping on this album for me. So there you go, those are my thoughts. Not a bad album, just not really my taste, I feel like, when it comes to Talking Heads. So yeah, there you go. Kind of a little bit disappointed, but hey, it happens. I'm not gonna love every single album that I react to, even if most of the albums that I do react to are like classic albums, right? So there you go. Those are my thoughts. Let me know if you have any insights down below, and make sure to leave a like, subscribe, go join the Patreon if you want to see this reaction uncut. There's a link in the description down below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.